Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, patriots. I was only asked to speak there about 10 minutes ago, so you'll forgive me if it isn't too polished, okay? Thank you very much to Chopper, who's organised this. There's my man, Ian, in the crowd with his RTE is the virus. We're outside a different virus building though today. We're outside another live factory, the Dail here. Now, what do we have with the old numbers, with the con job 19? Oh, what are the numbers now? Because they seem to be changing all the time. Is the official spoof that they're saying, I think, is 1,777, yeah? Well, that's spoof. Bingo! Bingo, yeah. So, Ben Gilroy, fair play to him there, I noticed on his Facebook page recently came out and printed off basically from the HSE. Well, it's coming from the HSE because this is what's happening, people. The truth is actually before our eyes all along, okay? It's actually there. So 1,677 people all had comorbidities, most of them 2 or more. So guess what? They didn't die of COVID-19.
We knew that.
This was mix of cancer, heart attack, stroke, etc, etc. Hey, one of them could have been a guy that fell out of a helicopter, fell off that crane and broke his neck off the ground, and they stuck a con job 19 sticker on his ankle. But this is going on too long, and I can see from the look in your eyes, you're the exact same as me, and you're thinking, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. It's been so pathetic throughout the lockdown. Our great leader, the Dandy Gandhi, we saw him there in Phoenix Park with his top off, playing nipple twisters with his friends, drinking cans, having a picnic. And that's the funny side of things, but we had our nursing homes, the government turned them into abattoirs, okay? And that's who we really need to focus on here. Of course, the first thing Mihol said when he came in, there'll be no investigation into the nursing home incidents. No, I'm afraid you're wrong there, Mihol. There most certainly will be. Okay, yeah, they turned our nursing homes into abattoirs. And then they told us all about this. Oh, there was some drug addict criminal there over in America who got killed. Let's march through the streets for him, about 5,000 miles away. No. I'm thinking about our elderly angels that were slaughtered in those nursing homes. And the way that these people died is absolutely revolting, okay? These decent, honourable, wonderful individuals that make this great country what it is. They're trying to take it away from us, but make no mistake, this is the best country in the world, and we are the best people in the world. So I was actually had something to say there, but I sort of I trailed off there a small bit, so give me a second there. Just talk amongst yourselves there. Okay, look it. At this stage now, the masks, okay, are complete. What I want you all to do, okay, right, after this, if you go into any shops, any premises, anything like that, right, there's 2 words. I'm exempt. Okay? And you don't need to elaborate any further. There's no need to elaborate. It's just I'm exempt and then you're gone. You know? And be polite, be very friendly. When I go into different places and I don't wear a mask, I make a concerted effort that when I'm leaving, to thank the security staff, we'll say, because sometimes their ego might be hit a little bit, and this is the way it is. You see, people aren't trained in to be stopping others wearing these masks, and it's all to cause division. Okay, this is all to cause division, right? They don't want to be doing this. But ultimately, if you're looking at the girls and the checkouts and the fellas in the till and the security guard, etc., they don't want to be going around with these face nappies on. Yeah. I mean, look at, and then you have the children in school, okay? And this is nearly the most deplorable aspect. Do you know that in this country, right, not one person under the age of 25 has died from this virus that hasn't been purified or isolated or identified really anyway. We're just trusting in these psychopaths. Do you know, they said one girl was in Mayo 17, but actually she's been included in the stats, and a few people I've noticed, even content creators, and fair play to them, are saying there's only one person. No, there actually isn't, because the family has came out and spoke. That lady, that girl, that 17-year-old, okay, was tested on 2 different occasions by this PCR test, by the way, which I'll go into in a second, and both times were negative. And remember, Tony Houlihan, Dr. Death Tony Houlihan, who's tucked his tail in between his legs and darted for the hills. He might have grew a conscience for telling us so many lies, pontificating to us in the evening, and these so-called journalists that were there with their pathetic questions. At one stage I thought Tony was going to be asked, Tony, if you got a pizza and you only had 3 toppings to pick, what would it be? Okay, someone just collapsed there, so first aid, so if there's any first aid, if they could tend to that individual. Could have been someone wearing a mask, most likely, because as we know, these masks, they cause hypoxia, they cause inflammation, they cut off the oxygen supply to your system, okay? These are torturous devices that, as again, they're used in this psychological warfare. Okay, so let's talk about, everything's okay down there? I'm not a doctor now myself, they look to be. Thumbs up, excellent stuff. Okay, so along with this whole hoax that we're dancing away to this whole hoax, we've got the PCR test. Now the PCR test. Okay, so the individual that invented the PCR test said, this is not designed to locate any virus or infection. Okay? Now, as we know with the old Conjob-19, it started off as COVID-19. Now that seemed to morph into SARS-CoV-2. I know that old Luke O'Neill, Lukey boy, the lie boy, Luke, he liked to call it SARS-CoV-2 to put an old twist on it. And then it morphed into the coronavirus. Now, guess what the common cold is? The common cold is a coronavirus. You won't hear that on the redundant, treacherous echo chamber of RTE though. So, as I said, with this PCR test, the guy won a Nobel Prize as well for it. It's not a diagnostic tool, right? It is only there to verify RNA sequence. It's to find out RNA sequence. That's what it's designed for. So this whole test. So that's another thing. No more to these testing. You know, people, they're going into premises for people that are perfectly healthy. We know that they're after our meat factories, and they're finding people that are working. And actually there was a case over in Laois where they found 7 positive tests, 7 cases, these frightening cases. But there was actually a problem with 2 of these 7 positive tests, by the way. 2 of the individuals did not even take the test. Who did I find this out of? Well, it was actually the manager of the meat plant, and they went to put it on Midlands radio, and check this out. It actually went for it was mentioned briefly, but guess what? The banhammer came down on that. They got a call. Don't be mentioning that. That's accurate information. Tell the sheep the lies. We want the obfuscation and the propaganda. That doesn't buy in with our lie propaganda, which even I met a Jack Russell Terrier on the street, and do you know what he said to me? He said, this is an awful hoax. A Latvian and a Lithuanian. And guess what happened? Fair play to them. Working from Kildare town, okay, and they were travelling to Laois, but they had car issues, lads. They had car issues, so they didn't make it. But obviously the lads doing the test didn't get that. So they got a call from the HSE number, presume. It was a 01 number. One of these numbers that rings in, the number's on it, but they can't actually ring you back. And they said, we've got awful news for you. Yeah? Explain, please. You've tested positive for Conjob-19. Well, I didn't even take the test. Beep. That's the number gone. Again, it's another... Thank you very much. That's another thing you will not find on the redundant, treacherous echo chamber of RTE. It really is the head of the snake. Now we know the rats inside. They use, RTE is the government's private propaganda institute to sell out all of this poison. Yeah. And I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. The head of the snake needs to be cut off here. And I think our next visit, our next protest, and I'd like to point out as well, Dee Wall is here, an exceptional lady, and she's been running, as well as Gemma, as I call her, Gemstone, and the great John Waters. They've ran a tireless campaign heading off against these bullies inside here, and every single group that they have as well to go after patriots like Dee, etc. So lads, we're gaining momentum. They were the real mavericks of this. They were the trendsetters, but you know, at this stage now, people have got to row in behind them, row in behind them. Absolutely, this man said that he's not going to pay for his TV license. I most certainly will. It would be the equivalent of paying a fella to bash a hammer off your head. No thanks. So, there we go. Look it, we've had a lot of treacherous individuals that have been passing out all this propaganda. We mentioned Luke O'Neill. Is Luke a little bit quiet these days? Luke came on the Ryan Tubridy show back in February, and he arrogantly said, do nothing. They do nothing for you. Now Luke is supposed to be a professor, but a couple of months later, old Lukey boy changed his mind on that. He not only said that you should wear masks, he said you have to wear masks. No. I will not be cutting off my breathing supply. I will not put a nappy on my face. I will not let myself be humiliated and emasculated. No. I'm a proud Irishman, and as I said, I'm in the best country in the world, and we are the best people of the world. And it is time for people to start stepping to the plate. You know, there's been other content moderators critique here. Well done. He's been passing out. I think they knocked him out on YouTube, which that's the badge of honor. Obviously he was telling too much truth. They said pull the plug on that fella. He'll get us into trouble here. So and Chopper and everybody else. You know, I recognise a few faces here that have been to lots of these rallies, lots of these protests, lots of these anti-government protests, and we just want enough. You know, but it's not just that. We want now accountability. We want accountability here. We want these treacherous rats. Yeah. They're not just going to run off now with paychecks here. No. And the last time that I was here, it was for a group that was organised. It was a March for Innocence that was organised for Chopper. We haven't had any movement to that. That was for one Roderick O'Gorman. Old Roddy, I forgot. Old Roddy, I can't remember. We know who's a paedophile apologist, Roderick O'Gorman, and he is simply because he was proud and honoured to be witnessed with Peter Tatchell. And as Justin Barrett actually said on this stage, there's not a person alive that knows the name Peter Tatchell and does not know that he is a paedophile activist. Are we going to have any paedophilia in our country? No. And we're certainly not going to have a minister for children that is a paedophile apologist. So, we chanted it before and I want it again. Roderick O'Gorman must go! 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 We want this government now dismantled. No, completely dismantled. It's not going to work. There will be no rejig. No, completely gone. Especially the likes of the Greens, and who do we have in waiting? We've got Sinn Féin, those traitors, possibly the worst of all, nationalists, internationalists. That's, you know, septic people headed up by the pig Mary Lou MacDonald. No. Okay, so I'm going to pass it on to someone else. So who's coming up next and I can introduce them? Dee. Dee is coming in the house here, so get ready, there could be a few expletives here. Okay, it's my honour to pass it on to